I would like to start with architecture and also from history. So you have probably been in many beautiful churches, and most of them are dedicated to God, and they are really places where you feel different. They are made for God, and their aim is to connect you with a God, and they are beautiful. And for some churches it has been centuries and centuries to finish it, and you probably know this one. And if we think about these churches, and we see the figures, how detailed they are inside, how much art is inside, and how much money it has been cost, and why did people in those times spend their money on this kind of things, why it was important, and how we nowadays are still so many touched of these things, that this money spent then is influencing us nowadays. All this beauty is influencing us, and when we go there, we feel touched and we feel much more connected with the God than anywhere else in the surrounding world. And again, here are some pictures, and these are just views to remind you how much have been rulers and kings spent their money, we say in business, on art in churches. So why was it important? Was there their own understanding that it is needed, or was there somebody who said that you should do it? Was it the Holy Spirit? Where did they get this money? It also gives us so many questions. And the last thing that, maybe kings or somebody said that do here something. And it was also a big risk by side of them, because trusting artists, when the artists come and open their heart or the view how they understand how to create God, and this image of artists and image of kings can be different in many cases. And I imagine that this painting, for example, that you usually don't imagine that it's the way God live, or God created life, and you imagine something else, but now it's there for centuries and impacts so many people. And why is the artist made it like that? How many hours he have been thinking, where he got this inspiration, and how did he dare to paint it in this way? And also here, we're not only speaking about painting, there are so many sculptures, so many beautiful materials. And here the question is always, how is Mother of Christ so young? Why she is created so young? What was in the mind of artist when he created such kind of sculpture? We are going to Jonathan's field now in the moment. It would be very nice to know what you are thinking, and when we're thinking about these pieces of art. But what is my challenge is really this is risk, and maybe our artists, we have lost our ability to think in this way, even to create something which is expressing God, Bible, Christ, and is so different. And where it has lost? Is there any artist who can take this kind of risk. I was recently in Mainz, and this is a church or cathedral in Mainz, and it's a really beautiful cathedral with red bricks, and all the windows are painted by Chagall, like window paintings, and they are blue. And I was sitting there inside and thinking that why did Chagall choose blue? Because we were inside the church, very big space and very big church, but there is no white light inside, because light is coming outside, it's big blue. and how it impacts you in the church, and this combination of red bricks and blue light. And it was so interesting that I felt that maybe I am in the sky, or maybe I'm in the dreams. So why it is blue? And I don't have answers. I think that most of the people don't think like that, but they are still impacted when they are inside. And the space has changed. And and then the beautiful stories on the windows, and they again contemporary art. And maybe we cannot understand all the shapes and what the artist is describing here and all the stories, but they affect and impact. And then I started to think about one church which is in Tartu. It's like the symbol of my city where I live, and it is here in this picture. It's in the situation how it was after the Second World War. And this church was built in the 13th century, and it was really unique because it has its terracotta sculptures and full of details and very beautiful. And so the city decided to restore it, and they gathered money, and they restored it. And there was a big discussion of what is the material of the tower, and they found out, okay, we don't have enough material to make this, I don't know how to call this, but we need extra money. And then there was a campaign, and they invited citizens to donate money, and we really managed to gather this money, and the church got a very beautiful tower and really wonderful. And it's in the city center, and one of Estonian poets wrote in local newspaper that she understands now how much Tartu had missed this tower in the city, that she had a feeling that all the city was missing a roof, or all the city was missing connection to the God. And now when this tower is back in the city, everything is okay, everything is like under protection, and it was needed. And I felt the same. I was working close to this church when they put this tower, and I saw from my view, from my window, how they made it, and I felt like a bigger gratitude coming into my heart. And then it was ready, but not yet from inside. And when we had an opportunity to go into the church, then okay, I show you some more figures before we open. These are the terracotta sculptures, and originally each one of them is different, and they are made according to the citizens of old citizens of like 13th century who donated their money for making the church. And you see that here are those small places. I don't know how far I can go, here and here. And originally in these small hole, there were the faces, different faces of all faces of the citizens who gave them money. And now they restored the church, but they took off the sculptures and put it to the museum, and there was no money to do new ones. So we miss those faces of old citizens and new citizens. And we have the church inside like that. And when I am here, I miss very much the feeling of citizens. It's like no place. Yeah, when I'm in the church, when I look at this picture, I don't know what do you feel? But we are speaking about airports being no places, and this place is somehow no place for me. Yes, it has a pastor, but still it's missing some kind of feeling that for me should be in the church. And you don't see any art in it. And at the same time, we have a small church in the countryside, and the pastor of this church ordered from an Estonian artist a painting for the altar. It is here, and it's really a small church somewhere in nowhere in Estonia. And this painting is, I think, the only painting made for churches during last 50 years. It's, and when it came out, it shocked people because it's quite old, and also the artist had such kind of history, had been drunk, and then he turned to start being a believer, and his paintings outside the church were crazy, and everybody was just touched that why he and what does it mean. But now time has passed, and the more I think of this, I see how powerful it is. And also the small details here that we have God, and we have here in Estonia, the landscape is an Estonian landscape. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is Estonian landscape with the same local church here. And like Christ and God is here among us, has not left us, keep holding us with his hands. And I see how this painting has impressed me in my life. And I'm working in a church in Tartu now, but I'm quite new in church. I've only been 5 years, and my background is in arts management. And when I went there, it somehow originally, it happened that I started to organize different kind of art exhibitions. Now our church is really beautiful, yeah, but it is white. And again, there was no money to put any art into the church. And sometimes I think that, where are our big dreams? When I look to the entrepreneurship world, then I am really amazed what people are doing here and what they can dream about. And maybe you have heard about this Elon Musk and this Mars spaceship missions. He wants to send people to Mars, and it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. But for him, it's reality, and this kind of entrepreneur who really believes, and he works towards his dreams, and he's going closer. And in church, where are our big dreams, our really crazy dreams? We don't have even big churches anymore. And we don't even dream so far that we can make really beautiful paintings to church because there is no money. Yeah. And continuing from here, I started to make really small things, like asking artists to make Bible visible. And this scene, children love it very much. And we have all these gifts in these bags, and they can see the Christ. And then we started to make different kind of exhibition in the church. And we asked people to bring their artworks. And then on one Christmas time, some years ago, I asked an artist to put these kinds of works. And for me, when they were in the church, it was, so I understood that it was now risk. It was risk from my side because they are so contemporary, they are so different, and I was not sure how church members take this. But somehow I saw these people, like those people who are outside the church and who come to the church only during Christmas times. They are different, and they are out. They are never can come in, drunkards or maybe some other people. They are different, and they were standing there on the walls of the church, like the same people. And the church members said that we don't like this exhibition. And it was like, we don't like all these people who come, strangers. And we took this exhibition off because we thought with the pastor that, okay, Christmas time and it has been a week, they have seen it and let's take it off. And we gave these white walls for Christmas time. And I was again thinking that I've done something wrong. So I see that there is actually no place for risking, because I am so much connecting. My risk came from that I was not as much Christian and was not maybe free understanding what I did. But actually, I got my award when my pastor, who has helped me a lot, got award from the city, who had seen that he's working with communities, and there are exhibitions in the church, and he got the award from the city. So I thought that it's part of me in this work. So working with communities, it is risky because people are so different, and there are so many different understandings. And then just some days before I came here, I got a letter from the same pastor you saw, and we have, this is the exhibition we have in our church in the moment, and he wrote me a letter that, Kulli, can you please put on the posters of the exhibition the remark that don't walk around in the church during the ceremonies. Yeah. Because people come and walk around, it's a small church, not like these big cathedrals in Paris, and it really disturbs. So we see that we need to educate, and we need to, there are two-side communication problems. And that's all we need to do, and if you take a risk, there are thousands of small things that come out, and you need somehow to solve these things also, and it takes time. And from this, all these experiences I have had, I see more and more that we need those interpreters who translate artworks and who also translate us between communities. And what do I see? That we need Christian art managers who are really professionals, who can do the changes in this way that no party is really very harmed because we don't want to, even in taking risks, I think it's important to take into account also emotions of people and somehow lead this process. And yeah, that's more or less what I wanted to say.